I'm gonna let's keep talking about that real quick.
Why?
I kind of like that trade.
You like
Uh,
that trade?
yeah, for Tyreek. I mean the boom bust potential is kind of nuts for real.
I got Sutton and Igbuka on this team as my receivers,
I mean, I
and I'm
like Igbuka,
stacked at
but
running back.
I guess the question is do you like him when Chris Godwin comes back? That's the
I
real
know,
question.
I know. So I'm thinking about dealing him.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, you're definitely selling high on him because I mean he's been getting a ton of targets over the first few weeks.
Hmm. Somebody offered me Henry and Igbuka for Jefferson and some other player. That was pretty good.
That's not a bad little deal there. That'd be
No.
something to think about. All right, well, let's hop into Thursday
Anyways,
night football. We got Buffalo versus Miami, and this really is the tale of two cities right here. Buffalo started off hot, probably game of the year already versus the Ravens in week one. They come back from a 15-point deficit with less than 5 minutes to go. Meanwhile, the Dolphins just cannot do hardly anything right. They were able to put the offense on the field last week, but the defense is atrocious. And I'll tell you what they're missing more than anything. Jalen Ramsey, who is now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick over the summer, and their corners have just not gotten any great action. Now, what I really want to start talking about here is the Buffalo Bills side of the football. And then we'll kind of get into some exploration here using the Doink Sports leverage tool here. But Hunter, I'm going to take you into your first pick real quick. So talk to me about Josh Allen and what you think he's going to be able to do tonight versus the Dolphins.
Josh Allen, Superman. Yeah, did he break his nose? I know he had a bloody nose. Did it break
That's
last
actually
week?
a great question. I do not know the answer to that.
Okay.
I
Well,
can give it a
anyways.
quick Google.
Oh yeah, hit me up. I'm gonna keep going. But for Josh Allen, I kind of get the feeling that people may think he's gonna run less because he doesn't want to get banged up whatsoever. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think he's gonna come out playing exactly like Josh Allen plays. So I got him going over 6.5 rush attempts
I like
tonight.
that, and I think there's a lot of value there. Also, confirmation: Josh Allen did indeed break his nose, but
Mm.
apparently is wearing special equipment tonight to protect it. Um,
Yeah, because he's gonna be pounding the rock, baby.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I think he's going to be pounding the rock tonight. Over 6.5 carries. I mean, quite frankly, looking at some of these games, it's pretty reasonable, especially looking at, at home. Let's take a look at that. In the last 3 games, especially versus Baltimore, 10, 14. That's a lot of carries, in my opinion, for a quarterback. But at 6.5, I definitely think he'll go over that line. Now, he didn't really touch the ball that much in the second half because that game versus the Jets was a rout. It was not a close one there at the end whatsoever. So they're not going to put their quarterback in harm's way. I think the Dolphins can keep this game relatively competitive in the first half.
Mhm.
As we saw, we'll go back here to this side so we can just see some of the game scores from the Bills and Dolphins over the first couple weeks. The Dolphins offense finally got going last week, putting up 27 after laying a bad egg on week one versus the Colts. That on the
Goodness.
road, Tua. I mean, I think everybody and their mother thought that the Colts were going to suck this year. But here we are sitting here in week two, and Danny Dimes is 2-0. And he's one of the best
Mhm.
fantasy quarterbacks, too, by the way, which
Number
I
4.
think is very impressive.
Oh, can I say
So,
something real quick?
yeah, go
I need
ahead. Go
to
ahead.
admit, Dome Gino was not it. It was not it last Monday night. I have to admit that.
No, he was not at all. But anyways, as we start to welcome in some people into the chat, I see D Betts is in here. What's up, D? How we doing? Um, I'm super excited to hop into this. We already started off picking Josh Allen over 6.5 carries. we'll go back to that player prop and start to track that. That's a great part about the Doink Sports tool is that you can track all of your picks throughout the night. I know that eventually live picking will also become a part of the Doink Sports tool. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. Let me scroll down here to the bottom. We'd be looking at Josh Allen right now. And here's another thing that kind of supports the claim here for Josh Allen over 6.5 carries. If we look at Daniel Jones and Drake May from the first 2 weeks of the season, the Dolphins allowed both of those guys to get positive carries. And they succeeded, in my opinion, in running the football against this Dolphins defense. As we could see here, the running back one has really taken off here. Jonathan Taylor, 18 carries, 71 yards, 3 receptions, 27 yards. And then Ramondre Stevenson, a total of 16 touches for 137 yards. 100 and, can I do math? No, 142 yards. Now I can do math. I think that this Miami front seven is a little soft, in my opinion. Ever since they lost Christian Wilkins, when he went to the Raiders a couple of years ago, I think Buffalo is going to exploit that. We could kind of see here that Josh Allen has had quite a few physical games versus the Dolphins at home as well. In his last 3 matchups, he's running over the 6.5 carries line. So, in my opinion, this is a great prop. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. We could shop it around a little bit. Over 5.5 at -120 actually is not that bad. Hunter, let me ask you your opinion on this. Would you? Well, let's see, because we only talk about major sports books here. We see some sharp books on here like Pinnacle, Novig, and places like that. I want to look at the ones that the people can see, and so let's see, the best odds that we can really pick up here for over 6.5 rushing attempts is DraftKings at -109. Where if we look here at Fanatics, I believe Fanatics has got it, at -170. I guess I can't read. Let's see, track this. No, Fanatics has got over 5.5 at -120. So in my opinion, I think there's a lot more value at over 5.5. What do you think about that?
I think honestly, I think either one's good. I didn't see the lines at +106, maybe roughly the same. Yeah, 5.5. Even in the game where he broke his nose, he still ran the ball 6 times. So I think you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, okay, so now I could see this a little bit clearer. If you, just for people that are looking to use this tool here, so you can shop lines on Doink Sports, check out Josh Allen here. All you have to do is hear all of his lines for all of the different categories: pass attempts, completions, yards. You could see rush attempts right here at 6.5. You can click track, and then you can shop the individual lines here. So we have BetMGM at +100. So that's the major sports book that we're looking at here. And then at over 5.5, the best odds that we can get from a major sports book looks like it to be Fanatics at -120. So we're talking about forfeiting 20 cents on the dollar for less than one attempt. Or actually, not less than one attempt, one attempt exactly. I think I like the +100. And an even pick rather than forfeiting up those extra 20 cents or $20 or whatever you want to talk, or however you want to talk about it. So we'll track that in at +100. I think that's pretty good value there. Usually I think this line would be at 7.5 or maybe even 8.5. But I think, like you were saying, because he broke his nose, maybe the lines have shifted downward a little bit. But knowing Josh Allen, him being a tough guy, I do not think that is going to change the Buffalo Bills game plan. So we'll go ahead and slam that with a nice little track there. So that's number 1 on the evening. Let's continue talking about some of these other player props. And you tell me what strikes your fancy. One that strikes my fancy is the James Cook over 13.5 receiving yards. As we could see here, the Dolphins have struggled tremendously in their first 2 games versus running backs in the receiving game. And I think this is something that the Bills have started to exploit themselves. As we could see here versus the Ravens in week 1, James Cook, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 58 yards. This is not a line that historically he's hit, but at the same time, I think this Bills offense is transforming a little bit, wouldn't you say, Hunter, to more of a behind the line of scrimmage pass game?
Yeah, I would agree with you, Plazon. I would agree, and I like this. I like this pick right here. I'm looking at it. Yeah, the Dolphins, man, the Dolphins. Even Jonathan Taylor, who's not known as a receiving back, had more than
Yeah,
more
and
than 25. So, oof.
yeah. So I mean, at 13 and a half here, I think that number is really low. You know, Ray Davis is not expected to come out here and be running back by committee back. So I think James Cook, who gets the vast majority of the action. I mean, look at week 2, 22 touches, right? For 135 yards. That's a prop that I think has a tremendous amount of value at 13 and a half. And as a matter of fact, for 10 points, oh, and here we go. Boom. For 2 less points at bet 3. See, man, this is I'm gonna start getting fired up here. This is why it matters to leverage everything you do. We're getting 2 points back and we're getting 2 less yards right here at Bet 365. Perfect, perfect pit right here. Let's go ahead and track that up. I think that is an easy slam. Uh, the Bills have started to trust James Cook more and more as the season has gone along from last year into this year. You can see the
Mm.
amount of touches has increased from 6, 14, 11, 15 to 23, 17, 21. I think this Bills team is going to be front running tonight. James Cook's going to get the lion's share of the workload, and to expect him to have less than 11 against this Dolphins defense who's been really soft is something that I wouldn't expect. So I think James Cook going over an 11 and a half is a great pick out there for and using the Doink Sports tool to find that best value. So let's move on. Let's talk about your next pick in the selection. We'll go ahead and hop into anytime touchdowns. Talk to me about your anytime touchdowns because I know you've got an interesting one.
I do. I do. I really like this guy. I've only heard good things about him. He's all business, and he's a Buffalo Bill, and he goes by the name of Keon Coleman. He
Yes,
didn't get
sir.
too many targets last week, I understand, but I do think he is the best candidate to be the wide receiver one on this team. I think they obviously need one, and I think he has the ability and the would you say the right focus, the right mindset in order to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I also think he's got the right body type for it too. I mean, he's got a fairly big body for being a wide receiver one. I really like the value here at plus 190 as well. He right now is tied with 3 other players here for red zone target shares, but as we were talking about earlier here in the stream, the Bills blew the Jets out of the water. So like later in that game, they were not looking to pass the ball into the end zone. So Keon Coleman was not getting, the red zone targets that he would typically get. I mean, looking at last year, that number's around 17%. I think we'll see that increase from or up into this year. I think that number will be somewhere around the 20-ish% range. Dalton Kincaid as well. Him and Keon Coleman should be getting the lion's share of the red zone targets. So I like that pick a lot, especially at plus 190 here at Fanatics. Let's see some other available lines here. Plus 185 at FanDuel, plus 180 at Caesars. I'm a big fan of this pick. So let's go ahead and log that in at plus 190. Boom for 10, and we'll keep tracking. Now another anytime touchdown prop that I liked a lot was Jalen Waddle at plus 264. Now, you're not going to see a lot of statistics that support this for the Bills, but Jalen Waddle in his first 2 games has gotten a fair amount of the red zone targets. And of course, he is a focal point of this offense. So between him and Tyreek Hill, who hasn't gotten a single red zone look, I like Waddle at plus 264. It's a bit of a long shot. Maybe not even a long shot, but I do think this Dolphins team will end up scoring at least a touchdown, maybe two tonight. And so for anyone to get their red zone target here, I like Jalen Waddle. And by the way, look at this Tua Tagovailoa anytime touchdown at plus 2,081. That is absurd. Uh, you know, I don't know let's go, we'll sidetrack a little bit and talk about Tua for just a moment. Let's look at his game log. When is the last time that he's had a rushing touchdown? Is it ever? Has he
At
ever
least
scored
the Dolphins haven't blacklisted him from running the ball ever
I mean,
at this point.
they probably should. Okay, his last rushing touchdown was 4 years ago in 2021. So for him to be at plus 2,200 is absolutely insane, but justifiably so if he hasn't done it in the last, 40 games? That's crazy. But yeah, the Dolphins have, you know what? They might have like an automatic, remote in his legs that if he crosses the line of scrimmage, they press it and his legs just go dead and he just falls on the ground. So,
They ain't my dog collar.
yeah. So, Tua at plus 22 and a half for rush, or I'm not plus 22 and a half, 2,200 odds for an anytime touchdown. I mean, long shot play, you could root for it, but neither of us, I don't think, are going to sit here and try to tell you that that's something worth taking, right?
Yeah, if you wanna donate $10, you can go right ahead.
Yeah. Hey, there's a reason that those casinos look the way they do, and it's probably because of this prop right here. There's a lot of people just throwing money away. Hey, but you know
Can't
what?
lie. It's a little enticing though, right?
I
The
mean,
odds.
yeah, that's what they don't put it there at 2,200 for nothing, right? They're
That's right.
trying to get you to take the sauce. But anyways, okay, back to the real pick of the evening. Jalen Waddle here has already gotten a touchdown himself earlier this season. I believe it was versus the Patriots. I think that he, going back to 2024, was a decent part of the red zone target share here. Tyreek Hill, by the way, hasn't received one at all. So I think him at plus, oh wow, his odds have actually, while we've been talking, bumped from plus 180 to plus 220. So maybe that is worth one taking because I don't know. That's an interesting shift there, actually.
That's what I was
Oh
thinking.
wow, yeah. As a matter of fact, look, take a look here. The majority of these lines plus 180, plus 180, 169.
Like a
But
FanDuel.
DraftKings is offering some kind of special at plus 220.
Mhm.
So that's definitely worth taking a look into. Looking at Tyreek Hill's game log, let's go take a look at that real quick. Receiving touchdowns, he's not had one in his last 4 games. Before that, though, the 4 games before that, he had 3 out of 4, and then so he's actually averaging 4 touchdowns in his last 10 games. At plus, you know what? I'm switching my pick here. If that's going to be the line at plus
Okay.
220, I will be taking Tyreek Hill there. So go find that on DraftKings. There's not really obviously there's not another book out there that's offering you this type of juice. Must be some type of special. So be sure to plug that in before it goes away because maybe it's a mistake. But anyways, all right, let's get back into more player props. So we've talked about Keon Coleman anytime touchdown, Josh Allen over rush attempts. I saw somebody here, Mr. Alex here in the chat said he likes the James Cook over attempts at 15 and a half. I think he's either talking about rush attempts or reception. So I imagine it's rush attempts at 15 and a half plus 165. Let's see if we can find. Oh, wow. Mr. Alex, if you like that, then check out here over 13 and a half rush attempts at plus 105. I'll go ahead and track that for you because that is a juicy play here. we'll be slamming that real quick. James Cook has averaged 14 in his last 10 games. And as you can see here in his last 5, he's right at that 13 line or well over it. So that's yet another pick to track. But I know you've got another player prop that you really like. Talk about that for me.
Well, real quick, I see the logic there, Alex. I like that pick. The way I see it, they had the whole holdout thing with the contract. They
Mhm.
finally got him signed shortly before the season. So the first game, gotta let him get into the groove a little
Warm
bit,
up
and
a little
last
bit,
game, they
yeah.
gave him 21 carries. So, yeah, if you feel good about it, I'm behind you. I
You
think
know,
it's a good one.
here's another a point to add on to what you're saying here, Hunter, is in that game versus Baltimore, only 13 attempts. I think another major reason why he didn't get more rush attempts was because the Bills were down by like 2 or 3
Mhm.
touchdowns for the majority of the game. And so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why you see here in his receptions category, that number is at 5. So James Cook, regardless of what the situation is the focal back of this offense. 18 touches in week 1, 22 touches in week 2. Either way here, you want to go receiving or rushing. I think there's a good amount of value here using the Doink Sports tool. You can get over 15 and a half at plus 165. I don't hate that at all. I just like buying down here two extra carries and you're still getting plus odds. So
Mhm.
thanks for the shout out, Mr. Alex. I like that a lot. Let's keep going here, though, Hunter. You had another prop that you were a fan of. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, this time we're gonna go with a Dolphins guy,
Okay.
the focal point of the offense, in my opinion, Devin Achane, and I liked over 39.5 receiving yards. Last
Over
week he had
39 and a half
10.
receiving yards. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I like, and, last week last game, he had 10 targets, and I don't expect him to have that many targets again, but if even if he gets into the 6 to 8 range, I think he could easily get over 40 yards.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And as a matter of fact, here, let's take a look. You can find something even better here. Over
Mhm.
36 and a half receiving yards at minus 120 using Bet 365. So that's tremendous. I think, what'd you say? Over 39 and a half?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So over 39 and a half, you can find at minus 115. As a matter, you lose 5 points, but you gain 3 extra yards at 36 and a
Look at
half.
that.
Let's go ahead and track that up. I like that pick a lot as well. I think that the not only are the Dolphins using HN in the pass game more to start this season, but I also think similar to the logic that we were just talking about with James Cook being used heavily in the pass game, that game versus the Ravens when they were down touchdowns. We can look here. We can see that the Dolphins are massive underdogs going into this game. If they're going to be behind, they're going to need to pass the rock. And I think we all know Tua's not going to be bombing. Now, I've got somebody in here saying, we got the fantasy report saying Dolphins money line, big
Ooh.
upset incoming.
I did have a weird feeling. I picked the Bills in my Survivor League, and when I did it, I just I don't
Oh,
know.
you felt some type of way about it?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Man, at plus 630, we can go ahead and talk about a midstream long shot here. Uh, the fantasy report is calling his shot. So let's see here. Let's look at the actual game
I don't like that.
overview. Let's,
Ooh.
I mean, the Dolphins haven't showed me much of anything. The defense has been awful. And quite frankly, they haven't played anybody either. I mean, the Patriots offense, are
Oh,
they
come on,
something
man.
you think there's something to write home about?
Come on, man.
What, you want me to
The
believe in the
Colts.
Dolphins?
The
Ah,
Colts. You
I mean,
calling them
okay,
not a good team?
let's take a look at some of these sides here, and let's look at Buffalo and Miami in their last 10 matchups. Now, Miami has covered the spread here, uh, 5 of the last 10 times, and they've won they've won 1 time in their last 10 matchups.
I haven't beat them in 3 years. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then we can extrapolate on this and even look at the Dolphins on the road in the last 5 years, and, yeah, they're 0-6.
Hey,
But,
maybe they can do a first quarter play. Look at that.
yeah, let's take a look at the first quarter play here. +3, okay. Alright, the fantasy report. Now he's saying that there are 3 Buffalo D linemen out. Let's take a look at the injury report. I've got official injuries. Ed Oliver, who is a
That's
Pro Bowl
big.
caliber defensive tackle, he is indeed out for this game. Now, I guess you're also talking about. Well, I actually don't see anybody else on the injury report. Um, I mean, he's in this chat talking it up. He's saying it's going to be a divisional rock fight. I mean, shoot. You know what? He's kind of selling me here on the Dolphins +3.5. And the reason that he's selling me on this is because they've been able to cover that in 80% of their last 10 games. And the Bills have been horrible to start the game in their last 2 games. It's a short week. It's definitely something that could be factored in. And I'll be honest, the fantasy report, he's talking me into the Dolphins +3.5. Let's see
Look at him
here.
egging you on.
Oh man, he's talking. I mean, he's kind of a madman.
Fantasy report. Are you from Miami? Be honest.
Oh yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, the fantasy report. Are you a Dolphins fan? Let's see
Be
what he has
honest.
to say about that. Wow, you got to be honest with me here. You can't be swaying me and not be completely honest about that. So as I'm shopping some of these lines here, let's take a look. -120 at
He hates the
BetMGM.
Dolphins. Wow, he's having supreme confidence.
Yeah. He says that he hates the Dolphins. So, shoot, I look, okay. We will come back to this and talk about this in a moment because I cannot let my emotions get the best of me during this stream. We're gonna think about it and we're gonna come back to it. So stay tuned. We might be slamming this. So let's get back and talk about some over-under stuff. Now, over under 50.5. The Dolphins defense has been letting up 33 points a game. Meanwhile, the Bills defense had a bit of a correction last week in week 2 versus the Jets, only allowing 10 points. And that was a Jets offense that looked explosive versus the Patriots, or not versus the Patriots, versus the Steelers in week 1. So this is a short week. I don't think the offensive game plans are going to be out of control here. So do you have any thoughts about the over-under here? As we can see, the Bills have gotten it in 60% of their last 10 games. Dolphins are at 40%. Both of these teams have hit it 1 out of their first 2 games. So you got any thoughts about the over-under?
Tell me, what quarter did Justin Fields get hurt in last week?
That's a great question. I think Justin Fields got hurt in the second quarter. But I
It
know
was
that
early on, wasn't it?
yeah. But I know that he started the game out, I think 3 for 11. So I mean, he was getting shut down. It was a bad outing
He was
for
seeing
Justin
ghosts,
Fields.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that the Bills probably had a little bit of a correction, but I'm worried about the run game, the run defense, especially with Ed Oliver being out.
Yeah.
Um, Pass rush, Joey Bosa, did he impress you in week 1
Um
or last week?
Not necessarily. I like the Bills really have not done anything defensively that has blown my mind. I think that the Dolphins are capable of putting up points as we've seen in, week 2 versus the Patriots, which I think that Patriots defense is actually probably the best in the AFC East. I think that they can put up points, but the question is how do the Dolphins perform on the road? And looking at this over under on the road, it's pretty atrocious. And then for the Bills at home, it's slightly over that line, but in most of these games that are going over, it's an actual close game, right? So 30-27 versus the Dolphins last year, 30-21 versus the Chiefs. But in the games that are going under, the majority of them are blowouts, right? Versus the Broncos, 31-7, San Francisco, 35-10, and then the Titans last year at 34-10. I'm thinking that could be what this game is going to look like tonight. The Bills are very banged up going into this game, but the Dolphins, man, I don't know. Do you trust their offense on
Man,
the road?
man, a lot of trends would have to be broken for fantasy report for that to come true. Fantasy report.
Yeah,
Josh
I
Allen
mean,
hasn't thrown a pick in like 5 straight games. The Dolphins on the roads, their offense is bad, bad. Look at the Bills. I mean, look how many games they won in a row at home.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
a lot of trends would have to be broken for that to happen.
And you know what? I'm very glad that we talked this out logically. Uh, the fantasy report, I appreciate your thoughts and your considerations,
I
but
appreciate the
we
passion.
I appreciate the passion more than anything because there's nothing that we like more here on this stream than passion, guts, and glory. But we will be staying away from the Dolphins money line tonight. Breaking news. Breaking news. We're not going to take a 12-point underdog to win the game outright. So I do like this, the over under here. Now, here's an interesting thing that actually has been added to the Doink Sports website over the last week or so is we can now see the over under for the game that the Dolphins and the Bills played. So what we're looking right now here on you see the red and the green. That's according to the over under 50.5. But we can do some mental math here and check it out. So the Dolphins in their last 10, under, over, under, 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 over, under. That, I mean, this is right on the money here. Two out of their last 10 have they gone over their actual projected prop. And these games are only averaging 36.8. I'm going to go out on a limb here off the cuff and go under 50.5. Now I'm seeing here that the fantasy report is he's offering for us to come on a show. And you know what? I'll say this for me, Hunter, you can speak for yourself here, but I would be more than happy to come on your show and chop up some ball sometime. You shoot me a DM, the fantasy report, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at Pleasant. You could see it here at the bottom, PLIZONT. Shoot me a DM. We'd be more than happy to chop up some ball and talk about not only any game you'd like, but also the Doink Sports tool. Let me give a little bit of a plug here real quick. We're using this to leverage and educate ourselves before we get into becoming full-on degenerates come Thursday night football. Okay. So be sure to check this out for yourself. You can look at Thursday night football for free tonight. But if you want to continue to use the website, be sure to purchase a product, use code Pleasant for 25% off of any purchase you make. Now, let's hop right back in here and let's talk about the under. I'm going with the under. How confident are you in my pick, Hunter, on this game?
Looking at that chart, there's one other game where they had a 50.5 total.
Yeah.
And
Let me see.
they were
Let's
still
look at that. Let's look at that.
2-10 in their last 10 away games. So I feel really good about that pick. I got to be honest with you, Pleasant.
Thank you. I feel good about it as well. I mean, it's hard to turn a short week, and it's even harder to turn a short week living in Florida and then having to travel from the very bottom of Florida all the way up to Buffalo, New York, and play a game. So I don't think that either of these offenses are going to come out and start, torching everything. But
is it chilly up there yet in Buffalo?
That's a great question. There was actually a cold front that pushed through. You know what? We can use the Doink Sports tool to check it out. Let's
good,
go to the
Miami
game.
Can't play in the cold. We all know that.
It's 65, partly cloudy, so it's not chilly willy just yet.
Feels good.
So let's take a look at that over under, and we will go ahead and slam the under here. We've added here at Doink Sports your ability to track over unders here recently. So that's a huge plus. Under 50.5. We get it at Bet365 for minus 110. Perfect. Let's go ahead and track that up. All right. Moving back in. We've talked about your Devon Achane play, correct? Over
That's right.
36.5 receiving? Yes. Okay.
That's what we settled
So
on, yeah.
okay, before we get into a full-on recap, here in just a little bit, I wanna talk about a couple more player props. As a matter of fact, Mr. Alex here just, shouted it out, one that I was about to look at here. Keon Coleman over his receptions at 3.5. That is a really low line, and what I'm kinda surprised about here is
Mhm.
look at some of these games. This is a little suspicious to me. We see here 7 targets, but just 3 receptions, 10 targets, but just 2 catches. Does he have a drop problem? Is he just getting is he just getting draped in some of these games? But I mean, as we move down here, 11 targets, 8 receptions, 3 targets, 3 catches. Over under 3.5 is a little bit of a dangerous prop here. Um, I don't see a ton of evidence for it using our tool here, but the Dolphins defense has allowed it in the majority of their last 10 games. Let's see if we can
Mhm.
find any versus Buffalo. We can look at Khalil Shakir in his last 2. I mean, he was able to torch him. So
Who are their DBs in Miami? Who's their
that
number
is
1?
that's a great question. I'm think like every time I think of a Dolphins DB, I'm thinking of oh my gosh. I'm thinking of Minka Fitzpatrick, but he's a DB, but he's with the safety group.
Right.
I'm thinking while I'm sitting here looking at the chart
Don't
here.
worry. Keep going, I'll look it up.
Jack Jones, I know he's there. You know, he's rotated around the Patriots and whatnot. And then they have one that's out, I believe. If we go to the injuries, and we can see here, Storm Duck, one of their starting DBs is out for this game. So I think Rasul Douglas is there. That I think that's correct. You could tell me if I'm wrong about that. Taking a look at their depth chart, but moving back into this, Khalil Shakir's over under
Yeah,
receptions at
you're right.
4.5. Is that right? Is that Rasul Douglas?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, I mean, Jack Jones, Rasul Douglas, maybe 3 or 4 years ago would be some DBs that you'd be like, well, okay, that's a pretty good secondary right there. But as they get later into their careers, I don't necessarily think that they're surely not Darrelle Revis. I'll just say it like that.
Alright, that's
So,
it. Keon Coleman's gonna eat this game.
are we
I like
locking
it.
it in?
Yeah, I like it.
All right, at over
I
under
agree, Alex.
3.5. You like it at
Actually,
3.5, or you like it at 3?
uh, I'll let you pick. But to be honest with you, Alex, I saw that too when I was looking at these. I don't know. I it jumped out to me at first, and then I got a little apprehension about it, but now that we're talking about it, I like it.
So we've got here at Prize Picks, at Mr. Alex. If you use Prize Picks, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm more of a risk averse guy when picking some of this stuff. At Prize Picks here at minus 118, I like that a lot. So we'll go ahead and plug that in. Great plug though. I like that a lot. Let's continue and look at some more anytime touchdowns. And now we'll get into some long shot plays. If you've got any off the top of your head. Now I know we were joking tonight about Tua anytime touchdown at plus 2,200. But do you have any serious props that you like?
I mean, I don't have anything that jumps out. I'm thinking, what about like a tight end?
See,
How are these defenses with tight ends?
great minds think alike here. I'm thinking it's a tight end, specifically Dalton Knox, who has not gotten the red zone targets this year, but last year he did. So the Dolphins defense has not allowed a touchdown to a tight end so far this season. But thinking about the Patriots and the Colts, they've got the Colts have Tyler Warren, a rookie. I don't think he got any red zone targets, and the Patriots tight end off the top of my head.
Hunter
I,
Henry.
is that right? Yeah, Hunter Henry, and I think they're like a dual tight end game there.
A
But
lot of
I
that
like
now in the NFL.
Yeah. I like Dalton Knox a lot here at plus 533. I mean, let's shop a major sports book here. DraftKings has got him plus 500. He has not gotten a ton of red zone target share. The Bills run a lot of 22 sets. So I mean, they're in two tight end sets very frequently. And so for Dalton Knox to be on the field and get a touchdown look, I definitely think it's something worth looking at. I like that a lot. That's my long shot play. Another long shot play that you could have, Hunter, is a 2 touchdown play. Is there anybody that you like here for the Dolphins or the Bills for 2 touchdowns?
I could see if you want to roll with Keon Coleman, I could see that. But I could also see one guy on the Dolphins ripping off some long plays, kind of like Derrick Henry did. That seemed to be the issue
Yeah,
with the
explosive
Bills.
running plays. Yeah.
So, I mean, Achane could do that with even a long pass, he could do that. Tyreek has the ability. I think last game he got going a little bit, got over 100 receiving yards. That's
Yeah.
good.
That's his first one and God only knows how long.
I mean,
I
that's a
saw I
big
saw
jump
some
to
reporter
1,800 for him, but,
Yeah, I mean
you know,
that is I mean for Tyreek Hill, let's take a look at his game log real quick. Last time he had two receiving touchdowns. Well, actually, yeah, two receiving touchdowns was 2023. That's a little bit of a I mean, that's one hell of a long shot for real. But Devon Achane, let's look at his game log: receiving touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Let's see the last time he had two. He had two here with the Dolphins against the Patriots back in November of last season.
mhm.
He had two versus the Bills on the
Like, there
road
you go.
too. On the road last year, in early November, a rushing
Kept it
touchdown and a
close, dude,
receiving
look.
touchdown.
Kept it close.
Cutting it close for sure. Uh, let's see here. Another 2 touchdown game for him. That might be it for the recent games. So at plus 687 underdog, some other places that have got this FanDuel plus 650. I don't think that that's outrageous. Now I'm seeing here that the fantasy report he's calling out Jalen Waddle for 2 touchdowns at plus 2,200. Now, originally, I actually had Waddle as an anytime touchdown guy. Let's go back and look at these lines. But for some reason, DraftKings is offering a special right now on Tyreek Hill. They're offering basically 40 points over any of these lines. So that's something that I can't ignore. I got to take. So that's where I'm leaning. But
That's
let's go ahead.
perfect. Now you can take Waddle for 2
Yeah,
as your
leverage them together. I'm expecting that. Hey, you know what? If that's the case, and I take Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown, Waddle for 2 touchdowns, I might as well just throw in Dolphins money line, right? Call that
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
parlay, a little make it out of the suburbs into the penthouses in any downtown area of your choosing. If you parlay those together, don't uh don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. That was a mere joke. We do not support financial uh terrible financial decisions here on this stream. Okay, let's do a little recap here before we kind of close it out. Um, as of right now, I'm going to let you talk about your picks here, Hunter. So for starters, you have Josh Allen over 6.5 rushing attempts. Hop into it.
I don't know if I just have a weird hangover from Monday night when, Herbert hit his,
Yep.
but, I just Josh Allen's just like you said, not that type of guy to shy away from contact. I don't think the broken nose is gonna stop him. He's gonna get those 6.5 rush attempts. I'm pretty confident about that. How do you feel?
I'm fairly confident as well. There's a lot of things that back this up. Josh Allen, in prime time in his last three games here, he's over that line easily. Any way you look at this, at home versus the Dolphins in prime time does not matter at all. He's averaging well over this 6.5 line. If you wanted to play it safe and take a look at tracking this, you could get it at over 5.5 minus 120. I definitely don't think that's a bad move if you're more of a risk averse person. But here you can see we've tracked it at MGM for plus 100. I think it's really good value there. So I like that a lot. This to me, this whole game, honestly, and this is kind of why I'm staying away from the sides here. I agree with some of the comments that I'm seeing. It kind of feels like a trap game, you know, divisional matchup, rivalry game early on in the season, and it's on a short week, Thursday night football. There's a lot of things that could go wrong here for the Bills and a lot of things that could go right for the Dolphins. Maybe their offense is finally going to put up some type of performance against a Bills defense who's struggled, to say the least. So I think Josh Allen's going to be sticking around in this game a little longer than most people are thinking. So I like that a lot. And then let's talk about your second pick, which I believe was Devon Achane over 36.5 receiving yards. Let's hop into that real quick as we have switched to it right here.
Yeah, very simple for me. I like keeping things simple. 10 targets last week, 8 catches, 92 yards. I think even if he hits 6 to 8, 60 to 80% of those targets, confident he'll get there. And if they're
I
gonna keep it close, he's
mhm.
he's gonna have to hit that. I mean, there's just no other way.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement there with you. I think that if the Bills go up like Vegas is projecting them to do, the only way that the Dolphins are going to come back is by slinging the rock. And Tua is not somebody that can consistently pass the ball 10, 15 yards down the field and complete it over and over and over again. He needs layups. And Devon Achane provides those layups for him. He got a chunk of them last game. He also had a fair amount of targets in week one as well. So I definitely like that. We shopped it all the way down to 36.5 at minus 120. You see here, you're forfeiting up 10 points of juice, but you're getting back 4 yards. I like that a lot. So moving on into your last pick here, let's talk about your anytime touchdown pick. And then I'll get into some of my picks as well.
Keon Coleman, baby. I'm rolling with him tonight. He's big, he's strong. He doesn't have a hard matchup. He struggles against the elite DBs, but I don't think he's at his potential yet, so I like him tonight to get
Yeah,
a
I mean
touchdown.
he's a young player. He's got some room to grow. But one more thing that I actually noticed here is that he's one of the only top 4 in red zone target share early on this year to catch a touchdown. So like Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, they both received multiple red zone targets, didn't catch the ball. So I mean, does that play into Keon Coleman's favor? Does Josh Allen have that somewhere deep in his brain? It's definitely possible. I mean, last year he was averaging a third of a touchdown a game. I definitely think we're going to see that move up to around zero 0.4, maybe 0.5 this year, maybe a touchdown every other game. And he didn't catch one last game. So this is it. So at plus 190, I think that's pretty good value here. I think we'll see if Keon Coleman's going to catch a touchdown. In my opinion, it will be early on in the game. So be sure to track that along with us. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of my plays here. First one I want to talk about is the over under. This is probably the one that I'm the most confident about. The first couple of Thursday night games were not unbelievable slop fests like we're used to seeing. But as the season goes on,
Yeah.
you start to see those Thursday night games turn into messes. And it's because Players are exhausted. They have not recovered from their Sunday game. The offenses don't have enough time to scheme up and scout. This is a divisional matchup, which gets really unpredictable. It's also a road game for a Dolphins offense that has struggled a fair amount, and it's on a short week. So I thoroughly like the under 50.5 here. You could shop that up to 51.5 at minus 123. I don't love that. I like here, looking at the track here at the under. Bet365 has got it at minus 110. So does BetMGM, Caesars, Fanatics, FanDuel. Everybody's pretty much slamming the 50.5 here. So my eyes tell me the Dolphins on the road as well have only hit this in 20% of their last 10 games. The Bills at home, looking at a lot of these matchups, of course, we see the Ravens here have put up a fair amount of points. That's the Ravens. But similar quarterback play to Tua, Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is better than Tua, but they have similar style games. 7 points last year, right? The Jets, 14. San Francisco, 10. Even Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chief only scored 21 points. The Dolphins hit this last year. If you asked me, I think that's more of a fluke. And we can see that is kind of a fluke in their last 10 games on the road. So under 50.5, I'm definitely hitting that. I see Dinger Betts has hopped into the chat. What's going on, my friend? We're just talking about a little summary of our picks here before we close out. Hunter, in connection to your Keon Coleman anytime touchdown, you said you've been sold on him grabbing 3 or more catches. Your thoughts?
I am. I got talked into the Keon Coleman game. Not necessarily a huge coming out party, like he's gonna be one of the best receivers in the league coming into the rest of the season, but he's gonna be able to stick his head up out of the ground and have some big games like he did in week 1 or maybe even a little bit better, so I feel like this is one of those opportunities, and from what I hear, he's up for the task.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree with you there. I think he'll be like I said earlier about his touchdowns. I think he'll be an early target here for the Bills to get him involved in the offense. He is probably the main focal point of this receiving core. I think the thing about the Bills is they kind of have a guy for every scenario. Like Keon Coleman is the 50-50 jump ball or the red zone threat. Dalton Kincaid is your third down receiver. And Khalil Shakir is a guy that you get involved in like the screen game or like slant routes. I mean, he's the perfect slot receiver for this Bills team. And the Dolphins, I think their weak spot is out wide at corner. Jack Jones and Rasul Douglas, I don't necessarily think that they can hold their own. If we go back here and look at our player props and scroll down to the Dolphins defense, they've got Kayshon Boutte as the Patriots wide receiver 1, but that's definitely not the case. Stephon Diggs is wide receiver 1 for the Dolphins or for the Patriots. And he went over that line. Looking back at, I think it's Michael Pittman. He easily went over that line. So these are 2 players that I have a good amount of respect for. I think Keon Coleman at 3 is a pretty good line there. Okay. We're closing this out. We talked about the majority of these picks here. Here's some added value here to kind of wrap this up. I've got James Cook in 2 different spots. Let's talk about him real quick. I think I just scrolled right past him. Here he is. So using the Doink Sports tool, by the way, if you're watching this, be sure to check out doinksports.com. You can look at tonight's game for free. This is an excellent tool that you can use to leverage and educate yourself on any pick that is imaginable. You can track them on the website. be sure to use code Plaisant for 25% off of any purchase that you make here on the website. Okay, let's talk real quick about James Cook before we close this out. The line right now is somewhere around 14 and a half to 15. But if we use the tool here and shop James Cook down to 13 and a half, Fanatics has got that at plus 105. And I think that's tremendous value. Either way, I do not think that the Bills are going to be down multiple touchdowns in the like no matter what, right? You don't think the Bills are going to go down like 21-10 in this game, right?
Very unlikely, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's possible,
I
but
mean, it's definitely possible, but based off of everything that we've kind of talked about, we're expecting the Bills to at least win the game. And if that's the case, as we can see in the last few games, when the Bills are leading, James Cook becomes the back. Looking at all the games that the Bills have won, the Lions, they win 14 carries. Jets, they win 15 carries. Broncos, Ravens. The Ravens, this game, they had to sneak that one out. Similarly to this Patriots win right there, they had to sneak that one out. I think it's pretty comfortable to say that they're going to at least be winning this game for the majority of it. And James Cook is going to get a fair amount of carries. 13 and a half at plus 105 is great value. And then to pair with that, I think the Dolphins, as we can see here using the Doink Sports tool, have not done well in the receiving game as far as running backs go. Over 13 and a half is something that I found. Actually, 11 and a half, excuse me. I shopped this line down to 11 and a half. Bet 365 has got it at minus 110. All it takes is one catch, but James Cook in his last 4 games has averaged around 3 catches per game. I think we could see that again. And if he's got 3 catches, I think he soars over 11 and a half. So we tracked that one as well. We got a couple more minutes in this real quick, Hunter. Long shot, anytime touchdowns. I think you said, or I said I liked Dalton Kincaid or Dalton Knox or Dawson Knox, excuse me, at plus 537. Reflecting on your choices here, is there any long shot, anytime touchdowns that you like?
who is the third tight end for the Bills? He called a touchdown in week 1.
Is that right? I think that
I'm
is right.
pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Uh,
What's his name?
Good question. I can Google that real quick.
I don't see him on there.
I don't think that the Doink Sports tool does tight end threes yet, but I'm sure that feature will be coming to find the utmost value out of any of these anytime touchdown picks.
Hold up.
While you're doing that, I'll just continue to extrapolate on my choice here for Dalton Knox, plus 537 anytime touchdown. Dalton Knox last year was had about not Dalton Knox, Dawson Knox, excuse me, guys, had about a 9% of the red zone target share. He didn't catch a ton of touchdowns, but he has received enough of the red zone targets for me to think that out of anything here, I think that Dawson Knox could score a touchdown tonight. The other values here, just they're not necessarily long shot plays. Could we see Ray Davis come in and snipe one from James Cook? Absolutely. In my opinion, none of these are worth your dollar. If you're thinking about making a donation, this is probably not the way to go. I'm just trying to give what the people want here, and that's an anytime touchdown. But go ahead, Hunter. I see that you're ready.
Yeah, maybe I'm tripping. It's Jackson Halls. Maybe he just had a catch down at the goal line. I can't remember.
Hmm.
But you know what? I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna go with Mr. Foot Prisons, Mac Hollins.
Oh, wait, on a Mac Hollins is I think he's on the Patriots now.
Is he? Nah.
I think so. Or maybe he's with the
I was looking at the box score. Maybe I was looking at the I bet. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I see what happened now.
No, you're good, you're good. Well, I think
It
what
was
we're
the
doing right
wrong
now.
Bills and Ravens game. It was the wrong
Yeah,
Bills and Ravens game. That's why.
I I think what we're doing right now, both of us are really trying to pull hard here for a long shot anytime touchdown play.
Hold up.
I don't think either of us see it. Now, we have some viewers in the chat, like the fantasy report, who is telling everyone, take the Dolphins money line. Here at Doink Sports, we do not support bad financial decisions. If you want to throw up a prayer, by all means, go do that. But if you do and it loses, maybe call the hotline tonight, guys. Be sure to think about your choices, taking the Dolphins money line on the road in a series that they've only won 1 out of their last 10 against the Bills. So with that being said, we have officially hit that hour mark, and that means it's time to lock them in, get ready for Thursday night football. Hunter, thank you so much for coming here onto this stream and talking to me. Guys, if you're looking for more football, NBA, college football, NFL content, be sure to take a look at my socials at Plaisant on any platform, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me. That being said, Hunter, it's been a true pleasure, my friend. Thank you guys all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me, Plaisant.
My pleasure, my friend.